Hey guys, and welcome back to Astro Musica Tutorials. Finding good quality sample packs has never been an easy thing to do. Now when you're making a genre like lo-fi, it's a little more harder because it's such a niche genre and there aren't a lot of sample pack companies out there that makes good quality lo-fi sample packs. It's not as commercialized as hip-hop or EDM or something, which has hundreds and hundreds if not thousands of sample packs in every corner of the internet. And the sample packs that these companies do make are mostly catered towards boom bap lo-fi beats, which is what 80% of the people think lo-fi still is. Or at least that's what I thought until the good folks at lofisounds hit me up and told me about their new sample pack collection. Now what's unique about lofisounds is that they're a company that focuses only on lo-fi sounds.
Well, duh.
The two founders of the company are lo-fi producers themselves. That's how you know that the lo-fi sample packs they make will be of the highest quality. They asked me to check out some of their sample packs and I can assure you right now, it is easily some of, if not the best lo-fi sample packs that I've ever worked with. So let me show you what these sample packs have in store. So I'm gonna start out with their sample pack called Dust and Dreams. Now this is catered a little bit more towards the boom bap type of lo-fi, the old school lo-fi. Now if you don't know, my favorite type of lo-fi drum samples are the crunchy kind. I'm not a huge fan of the high frequency crispy cymbals and drums and whatnot. I like the crunchy stuff, and that is exactly what they have here. Let's check out the close hats. Oh, you gotta love it. Cymbals. They have a couple of loops too, but I'll show you the individual samples first before we move on to the loops. Kicks. Solid and beefy open hats. Snares. Tom fills. And individual toms. They've given you a lot to work with. Now, I'm yet to come across a lo-fi sample pack or any drum sample pack with this many toms to work with. Now, I'm a big fan of creating my own drum fills, and toms are the only sounds that I've been lacking to really experiment with fills. So I'm excited to explore that. Now let's move on to the loops. Drum loops. See what they did with the toms there? Next we have some hat loops. And even a shaker loop. Lastly, we have cassette recorder Foleys. I am a big fan of Foleys. Anything that I can use to spice up my drum patterns, I'm a big fan of. And Foleys are another thing that's been lacking in a lot of drum samples that I've come across. So that is the Lofisounds Dust and Dreams version 1.0. Now, all those sounds that I just showed you, you can get that for just $12. The Dust and Dreams Lo-Fi Boom Bap drum kit for $12. That's less than half the price of the lo-fi sample packs that I've actually spent money on. In fact, all of their sample packs are $12, which is absolutely insane when you look at the quality of these samples. Now, don't think that this company only makes drum sample packs. Let's move on to the second sample pack, the Lofi Blessing Premium, filled with nylon guitar samples. Now, in the folder, you'll find dry and wet folder. Dry meaning unprocessed and wet is processed, in case you guys don't know. I noticed that the blessings are named after characters from the Bible. Let's check the wet first. Oh, so good. There's so many things you can do with these sounds. If you listen to them, they are recorded at the highest quality. They sound so good. And they're all royalty free, so you can do whatever you want with them. Now moving on to the next sample pack, the Melancholic Rhodes plus MIDI. Now this is another non-drum sample pack. It's basically filled with Rhodes melodies. For example, now the melodies are filled with lush and nostalgic chord progressions. But if you like those chord progressions but don't like the sound that he used to make them, that's why they've provided you with a MIDI folder. Using this MIDI folder, you can get those same chord progressions with any sound that you want. For example, I've loaded up my favorite piano plugin. Now I'll go to the pattern bar, drag one of these MIDI folders here, and look at that. The exact chord progression, but using the piano that I specified. Everything's same down to the velocities. The next sample pack is kind of unique. It's called the Toy Drum Kit. What's unique about this kit is that it's a mellow drum sample pack that's made by sampling toys from the 80s and 90s. No drums were used to make the sample pack, only toys. And I think that's very cool. You have your drum loop stems, kicks, snares, hats, Foley loops. Another very important thing that you don't see in a lot of lo-fi sample packs, Foley loops. Foley loops are so important in spicing up your drum patterns. They fill in the little spaces and they can make your drum patterns so much more groovy. Perk loops, another one of my favorites. We have your individual perks, risers, sound effects, and ambiances. First, we have your kicks, snares, hats. I like the crunchiness of those hats. Foley loops. I love it. Perk loops. Perks. Risers. Ambiances. And we also have drum loops like I mentioned in the beginning. And probably the most important thing, the drum loop stems, which is basically the drum loops, but they've split each of those loops into their individual sounds. For example, the first drum loop is called Awake, and this is what it sounds like. So if you go to the drum loop stems, there's a folder called Awake. And that folder contains all the sounds used to make that drum loop. Now, providing you the stems, this allows you to mix and match. You could use sounds from this, take some stems from another drum loop, combine them together to make something very unique. Just another chance to push your creativity and push your experimental side. And the final sample pack that I want to show you guys is the warped Foley sounds. Now, I said this in the beginning of the video and I'm saying it again. The sounds that have been lacking the most in pretty much all the lo-fi sample packs that I've come across are Foley loops. Yeah, some of them contain good Foley sounds, but then when the producer takes their time to make Foley loops, it just immediately becomes the best sample pack for me. The fact that these guys, the good folks at Lo-Fi Sounds, have created an individual sample pack dedicated to just Foley sounds. No, dedicated to just Foley loops is absolutely insane. I'll show you what they sound like. Oh, the crunchiness. And they have so many sounds. Just look at that. Different types of sounds, different types of grooves. Some are subtle, some are a little less subtle. These sounds are everything you need to make your drums sound epic. I absolutely love Foley loops. It's one of the first things I look for when I get a new sample pack, but these sounds are just going to keep me occupied for a very, very long time. So those are just a few of the sample packs that Lofi Sounds has to offer. If you want to check them out and check out more of their sample packs, go to the link in my description and it'll take you straight to their website and you can just start purchasing right away. The store has a lot of offers right now, so you can get them for very cheap prices. On top of that, if you use Astral10 as a discount code when you check out, you'll get another 10% off. Go and support Lofi Sounds and go and get these sample packs ASAP. Now, I'm Ijo and thank you for sticking to the end of the video. If you have any doubts about the sample pack, please let me know in the comment section. I will answer every single one of them. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Go and check out our other videos. I guarantee you that you like them. And yeah, I'll see you next week.